Sai com light! Os trabalhadores, isso é um jovem que fazer todos os... Quando nós faço trilha sonora. Essa empresa sempre feita. Tô nessa empresa aqui mesmo, né? Você fez. Primeiro vai. Vou salvar que eu vou estar aqui. Que isso? Isso é um grande desafio. Gente, vamos trabalhar. Não tem necessidade disso. Não tem.
Chemistry, because I find it so fascinating. Talked about enough. Thank you for that.
Estão dizendo que os meus pontos vão vencer, mas precisa clicar nesse link.
Desconfio que é igual. Procure o bebê. A gente tá sempre atento.
Quando eu vou me cadastrar em um site novo, ele me dá assim, usar senha forte do iPhone, e aí ele mesmo gera umas arquivo, né? Eu não preciso ficar escrevendo.
If you, that's part of it.
Intercourse, it's because they haven't had adequate time for arousal, and so before they've had those adaptations to occur, and the labia open actually happen physiologically to allow for preparation. So while some people may be aroused and get to that point quicker, some people a longer period of time of what, as you described, foreplay, and not everyone is the same. But I think it's important to have that discussion with your partner. And lubrication is one of the ways that people assess arousal, but that's not the be-all, end-all. Some people just make a lot of lubrication, and some people don't.
Yeah, I always thought that's cheating. First of all, I don't want some synthetically in me. Also, but that's from my point. I think it's because, like I said, I have high libido. I don't have any lubrication. So if I'm not lubricated naturally, I don't fucking want you. Get the fuck out of my face. So I would disagree with that, but that she's probably talking about general. Also, I'm a strong believer that women that do not lubricate much or do not want much sex just haven't explored themselves well enough, haven't gotten in tune with their bodies and what they like, and therefore were able to pick a man according to what suits them. I'm a strong believer in that. And from there, they just kind of give up and like, oh, it's just part of who I am. I just don't really want sex. Or like, I don't really get lubricated. It's just like, it's fine for me. No! I want you to be happy. I want you to be satisfied. Explore more. Do not settle because you had shit experiences with shit man that did not fit you.
And certainly that changes with age and hormones. So if certainly we know that after menopause, with a drop in estrogen and testosterone, you will see a decrease in lubrication. And sometimes if people are on medications that can alter their hormonal axis, they may also see changes in lubrication. During breastfeeding, you can see changes in lubrication. And again,
see, I thought that too. Like when I get on birth control, because there's no possibility for my egg to get fertilized. Nature doesn't even bother with lubrication. It's just nope. My sex drive goes down. I told you guys that's why I take it. But if it's the right person, you gonna be dripping. Regardless of medication, not, because a lot of it is also mental. Like they mentioned it before. It starts with not even physical as much, but that's a big part of it too. It's just nature goes through it. But it goes through our brain. You just gotta want, you gotta be into it.
This is they're not aroused necessarily. This is like a physiologic problem that they're having.
Can we distinguish between arousal-based lubrication, let's say sexual arousal-based lubrication? And again, folks, forgive me for being so hyper-specific in language, but there are other forms of arousal besides
Remember
sexual
when
arousal.
he couldn't say the word?
We know from, it's not a pleasant topic, from
Was
reports
it anal?
following sexual assault. That,
What is it that you feel
oftentimes
shy
the victim is
saying?
demonized
What, do you guys remember that?
lubricated, and they will say, well, then the people will presume that somehow they wanted that interaction.
high.
In those cases,
Anus. Is that
clear
what it
that
was?
that the lubrication occurred.
But anus is like actually a medical term.
Right. Okay. So let's set that aside.
It's not like he had to say like
that's important
bukkake or
to flag. Are
fucking furries in the ass. Like
type arousal
to say that.
lubrication that allow for non-painful or even pleasureful penetration that are important to distinguish from the arousal-based lubrication. I have to imagine that you will have sex and it can be pleasurable, painful, and that might relate in some way to baseline levels of lubrication. And here we've been talking about lubrication mainly in the context of arousal. Postmenopausal reductions in lubrication, but are there also postmenopausal reductions in lubrication? Are some people's vaginas just more lubricated at, I want to say at rest, it's like scientist in me, when they're asleep, for instance, and they're having erections and getting vaginal periodically? My guess is yes.
Well, they're definitely getting clitoral engorgement, right? They're getting clitoral engorgement. There's been some studies on that they are also getting nocturnal tumescence, right? Just like men do. As far as lubrication, the data, at least from what I understand, is like there is a protective mechanism whereby women, when there's any sense that there may be penetration, that their body will immediately start creating lubrication, and that is protective to avoid, trauma and injury. There's also baseline vaginal. It's completely normal. Women will make physiologic discharge. In fact, in our examinations, when we examine women, we'll say normal physiologic. And it is 5 milliliters. Not a small amount. It can happen. It can be quite a lot.
And it's menstrual cycle in terms of the viscosity and the.
Yes, it changes over the cycle, and it can be different in color and different thickness, and that's completely normal. And I think that's a real problem. The feminine hygiene industry, you don't need to smell a certain way or reduce that discharge. This is like completely normal health. We talked about chemistry, and I know there's like not a ton of data on this, but there's like pheromones, right? There's scents that are coming from you, which are actually attractive to a partner potentially, and whatever physiologic, I don't know, there's not a ton of data on this, but like there is that part of it. So, there's a lot of marketing towards women that you're dirty, you should be smelling like peaches or whatever, and there's a lot of marketing.
Maybe this is generational, but I learned early on, I think by behavioral neuroscience courses, that vaginal lubrications were part of the arousal response for both. These were always framed in the context of heterosexual relationships, but both partners. Let's just say both partners, because this could be a homosexual female relationship too, right? We want to make the conversation as broad as possible, and that the odor.
Pineapple.
Frank here.
It's funny for men. It's so easy. Eat pineapple.
Played a
what
role
about women that have
arousal,
issues
but
there?
also the pair bonding response that would establish.
What should we tell them?
And anyone that's ever been in a relationship that let's say had healthy sexual relations, I like to think is the experience of remembering somebody's smell or thinking about somebody's smell, and that itself can be very arousing.
Yes.
Partners even smelling different articles of each other's clothing, and that being arousing.
Yeah.
So this is the stuff of real physiology. We're not making this stuff up.
Right. But there is a lot of marketing towards women that they should use douching or other things to clean themselves, and it's damaging,
so
right? It's
unhealthy.
actually, one, it can affect the vaginal microbiome, so their pH is changing.
Yeah, I would say if anything, be thoughtful about what you eat because it's technically a big system. It starts here, it goes, then there's the stomach, then there's just like and then there's a vagina. So all of that is very well connected. It's a microbiome, just like things that live there. So it basically starts with the stomach, like things that we eat. So for women that, let's say, have a diet that's high in sugar, all kinds of like different sugar or like gluten in it, their microbiome will also differ because of that, and the candida will outgrow most likely because candida is normal to have in our bodies, but a lot of times when you eat a bunch of sugar and gluten products, it's honey for it. It just grows so fast. It's like the droždie. It's like the type of, not the mushroom, what they call it, fungi. There you go. Candida is a type of fungi, so it just starts to overgrow in there, and then the smell and the texture and also the taste changes. This is where it becomes like soury or like fishy or like any of that. So if you just balance out your diet, and you don't need to eat perfectly, but balance that out, like give your body a chance to like regulate fungi in there. Don't just feed it with just constant sugar. But yeah, there could be other reasons too. Just one of that's like probably the most common one. I'm not gonna name names, but I know a couple people that had big issues with that. Like it's literally right there. So
And that can affect, their risk for UTIs.
no, it doesn't
or
taste like
bacterial
cupcake. That's another thing. That's like such a big misconception. Recently, a friend told me, it's like, I probably have candida because I eat, not have candida. Oh, like I smell sweet, just overall sweet because I eat sugar, lots of sugar. No, this is not how it works at all. Like, at all, actually. Sugar itself is not bad in moderation, but because people overeat it, once again, it imbalances things in our system.
Parabenizar porque que
Perfume
trabalho,
is made from male animals like cats, sexual pheromones that women are prone to. Marketing is the vilest even creation. I don't know what perfumes you're talking about. I absolutely hate all male perfumes. Specifically male. There are a couple of females I could be somewhat okay with. I think most of them are way too strong chemically.
esse aqui pra mim
Disgusting. It's disgusting. I hate it. I'd rather smell your sweat. Literally the stinkiest, smelliest that you got natural smell than any perfume. I hate it. I fucking hate it.
esse
And a lot
aqui
of
pra
people,
mim,
especially if they buy something like, oh, this is Gucci, they just shower themselves in that shit. And you can't breathe around them. They have like a cloud, a permanent fucking cloud that you can't go in like 5-meter radius near them. It's so disgusting. Stop doing it. Fucking stop it. And I'm talking about everyone in our society that pushes this narrative like natural smells are disgusting. We have to cover ourselves with chemicals of deodorants and perfumes. No, stop. It has to stop. Stop rejecting natural. Fucking stop. It starts with our bodies where we constantly have to cover ourselves. Constantly. Oh my God, there's